first of all, I appreciate, so to Greg's point, that Teresa asked great questions. I'm like taking notes. I'm like, this is the one panel that I can sit on. Like I take notes for this panel. And I'm so excited about learning about these puffer hugs because every year, well, I hope my team isn't going to hear this, but every year I find a gift from my team. So I'm like, they're going to get puffer hugs this year. I'm like, yes. Aren't the ones I get, so we're good. So back to your question, Teresa. So it's interesting because most folks know about the YMCA from at least the one perspective of our fitness, what we now are identifying as our fitness centers, and explicitly saying that because we did a lot of stuff at the Y. And what I saw is that, and you nailed it, Teresa, it's that we had a very transactional approach to the Y. We sold these memberships, and then people would come buy these memberships, they do their thing, and they leave. And I was like, really, y'all? This is what we're really offering people? And I knew something was different because when I came, when it was announced that I was going to be leading the Y, I got so many phone calls, and it was Black and brown communities that said, we need a Y back in our community. I was like, oh, okay, because explicitly it was said to me that we left communities because the communities no longer supported the membership. And I was like, really? And then what I heard when I started reaching out to communities and talking to communities is that the Y membership didn't support those communities. And so it was the exact opposite, because what they felt about the Y was the relationship that they had with the not just the organization, but with the people, to your point, Greg, it's the people. And they were coming to the Y, it was part of their community. And so that was what was missing. So because we literally, like, a couple of sites didn't reopen once COVID was reopened, or we were transitioning out of COVID, and several sites weren't reopened. And when I came, I learned that we weren't opening those sites. I was like, okay. And they're like, we have protests, and I was like, okay. But what we saw is like, oh, y'all, first of all, for a nonprofit to be in a position where someone actually protests for you to stay, that's a pretty good position to be in. So what's really going on here? But what we saw was that people wanted not the transactions, they wanted the stuff in between the programs. They wanted that community. So we ended up changing our mission to the Y, and I got so disassociated with the previous mission, I actually can't remember what it is, but I'm sure it's on a wall around here somewhere. But to me, it was a listing of programs. It felt like the transactions. I think it was like academic readiness, character development, like all the things, instead of what people were receiving from us. And so we actually changed the mission to the YMCA is committed to strengthening community by connecting all people to their purpose, potential, and each other. And it was so powerful, so now we changed this new mission, so we needed a new brand, because, I don't even know, quite honestly, I'm like, you know how it's just so part of your consciousness, you can't even recall it anymore, so it's gone. But we did need a brand to really reflect all the things that we did, but also all the experiences people had with us. And so lots of surveying, marketers do their thing, really reach in, do questionnaires and surveys and talking to people, and we landed on the power of play. And it is because the Y was the one space that people actually found joy, could play. But what they found in that, and so while the tagline is the power of play for the brand platform, what we say is that play brings about endless possibilities that lead to progress. Because what we found is that the Y, when people were in, and we say it in our natural language that, oh, let me play with that, let me think about that, let me, play was not just the act of what we naturally think about as little kids play, it was actually how we process things and the joy that we bring to things. And so we were like, we're gonna own play and recognize that the power of play can truly transform communities. And so once we said that, it felt like the world just opened up to us. And by the way, that was my thing too. like I tend to sort of lead with joy. I appreciate that. So that to me also aligned with the culture that I wanted to bring for an organization. And I learned that really at the YWCA, because we were doing very gritty things. We were operating with crisis lines. We were doing just hard work. But what I learned is when you did that work with joy, it just benefits the people, not only the people doing the work, but the people receiving the services. And so things can be hard, but there is a spark of joy that people experience in even the hard things. And I wanted to make sure that we brought that into our culture. And I actually feel, for one, I think that's why we got so much done at the YWCA, because we played and had so much fun. And at the YMCA, it's like we actually can play. I'll tell you, it's the simple things that matter too. When I came back from COVID, we were coming back from COVID, so people were slowly coming back to work. And I learned there was a dress code here in this building. Because we have 25 sites, most of them are community hubs that have fitness centers and pools. And I learned there was a dress code here. I was like, what's the dress code? They're like, I think it was business casual and professional dress. Like, it was pretty buttoned up. I was like, y'all, we are a gym. I was like, why are we requiring people to come dressed up just because they're coming down here? Like, at the end of the day, why are we doing that? So we went to a complete dress for your day. Now people roll in here with anything on. I'm just like, glad you got on shoes, right? But that starts to shift the culture, though.
Yeah.
People are having a different experience even at work. So we've been able to just really start transforming the culture and lean into the power of play, not only for our people, the people that we serve, but the people and the experiences that we're having inside the Y. We have play dates with our employees now. So they said a day of play. I was like, don't call it a day of play because it's only 4 hours, so it's only a play date. So I'm trying to help our team be more precise. If we don't have a play day, I need a whole day, not 4 hours. That's not a day. But we're doing things because, again, when people are in that mindset and you're releasing that joy, just possibilities happen. And it is about those possibilities that lead to progress. And so, from a culture perspective and my leadership style, it works for me. And we are able to see that progress. And, we see it in the numbers. We still have a long way to go to continue to build back from where we were from COVID and where we're experiencing that, but we are experiencing growth because, again, I do think it's the growth is happening because our people are engaged, they are having fun, they're leaning into the power of play, and we're going to continue to do that.
Thank you. So a lot of that has to do with your employees experiencing what you're asking your customers to experience.
Absolutely.
Because if you tell your employees, go make that work for the customer, and they don't feel it, they're not going to be sharing that, right, that quality. Zuli, you were making a comment about the Pelotons. What was that you had said earlier?
Oh yeah, I was telling you that I've known you before, right, with the YWCA, and I was just like, for the YMCA, I always felt like it was a very masculine energy, right? Even though there's a lot of gyms, but even think about a gym, right? Women are not very comfortable in moving into, being more like, I can go and lift weights. And I saw that you created the partnership with Peloton. And if you look at Peloton's marketing and its trajectory, it's always been directed to women and having fun and like being energized. So I was just curious, like, is that part of your play, is introducing what Peloton had created to the communities around?
Absolutely. So, from a business perspective, when you look at an organization like the Y, I'm learning new words because we have so much, we were talking about digital access, and I know so much is about the digital environment. I'm like, y'all, again, we're in gym, therefore, we should be owning the physical experience, right? And now, we're starting to hear words like the real economy, like, not the digital economy, but the real economy and in real life and all these things. I'm like, we need to really own the physical experience because not yet has technology taught people how to swim, or so we really have an opportunity to lean into what the physical experience looks like. However, we know that people also want virtual and digital experiences. And so for us, it was literally a no-brainer. And fortunately, we had relationships with the YWCA and Peloton because they are so mission-driven, which people don't think about that, but they want to have health and well-being be accessible to all, but their model doesn't necessarily support that. And so partnering with us, so we're the first in the country where we're partnering with them now, that we are, every single Y membership also comes with a Peloton membership so that people can work out at our sites and have those equipment available to them, but also do what they want at home. And because Peloton offers more than just routines on their equipment, like you can walk, you can meditate, you can do yoga, you can do all these things. So now between the two of us, we can literally cover that physical experience no matter where people are.